Oh, hello there, and welcome to the Death Battle Cast. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz in Death Battle. I am joined by Liam.
you weren't
Not
you weren't
Chad,
sure
it's
like
Liam.
which where you're like, okay, wait, is Sam gonna take the place of the Chad
Well,
spot in the next, or is it just we're gonna jump to Liam? No, I had the
normally it's
same
Chad,
thought
and
too.
then I go Liam, and then I
Yeah.
go whoever is in the fourth spot. But we have no Chad today.
I was
'cause,
anticipating that. Yeah.
You're new Chad.
I'm the new Chad.
Hi, new Chad.
Hello, new Chad.
Congratulations, Liam.
Hi.
The new Chad.
And also congratulations,
in the
new
world.
Liam. Embu. I guess.
It's me.
Embu's
Rest in peace,
back.
Chad.
Yay. If you are on the Death Battle Discord, you know Embu. He's there. He's chilling with you guys.
me.
And last but not least, new somebody else. It's Sam.
I'm the new Ben now. Deal with it.
New Ben, new me.
Imbu, is it safe to say you were the Discord dad? Does that fly?
I have yet to
scored.
come to terms with that comfortably, but you know
Yeah.
what?
Oh
I'll
my!
embrace it
Let's
soon
these
enough.
transitions. We really are
Look
going
at
hard,
that.
Mike.
We're cooking today.
Mike has been having some fun.
Mike's been in the
Dad
kitchen
scored.
to keep the analogy going.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dad.
Is that your new official title? Your
Yeah.
Discord
Yeah,
dad?
Discord dad.
Death
Yeah,
Battle
Dad
Discord
scored.
Daddy?
Death Battle
scored.
Discord daddy.
When you add the Y,
DBDD.
it
Dad
just
scored.
Dad scored, yeah.
Dad cord.
There you go.
Death dad?
I was gonna keep
No. Ooh.
like chanting it sort of quietly in the background until somebody acknowledged how weird I was being. It's good.
What? Death Daddy?
You're being
Uh,
weird.
Dad
being very
scored.
weird.
Death
Yeah.
I was saying
Daddy.
Dad scored a bunch.
We're
Oh.
like it's
yeah,
like
we're
Discord and
pretty
Dad.
used to your weird here, so
Yeah, I mean, we would have just let you go.
yeah.
I was about to do a spit take for some reason. I realized I would be damaging my own computer, so
Yeah.
I didn't
Do
that.
it, please.
No,
No, I don't think I will do
just
that.
I
No,
would
don't do it.
feel gross. I hate
Don't do it.
seeing like I mean if it's water it's
Fluid?
one thing. Well no, if it's water it's cool. Like it's not but if it was anything that could even
This is
remotely be
vodka.
sticky, okay, that's fine too.
Oh.
That's even easier. That is cleaning up. You're not making
Yeah,
anything
right?
dirty
Yeah,
if you
this-
spray it with vodka. You're
It's
cleaning
not
it up.
vodka. It's not vodka. It's water.
Um
I can tell that.
but yeah,
joke
no.
because
It would
looks
just
the
be
same.
oh, that's the wrong screen.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Thank you, Nathaniel Moss, already for gifting Death Battle memberships.
So
I know there
fast.
were a few questions about the new upcoming membership tiers from last time when we sort of announced that we are going to be adding 2 new tiers to the Death Battle Championship memberships. I'll talk a little bit about that more later on in the show.
Two new
Also,
tiers of the kingdom.
want to say it is perfect timing, right? With Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I still haven't played it yet, which is an important note. I'm gonna play it soon. It is literally right there. I'm looking at it right now. It's been sitting there for a couple days now, and I've just been too busy. I haven't been able to play it. So we are gonna be doing a community death battle between Link and the Tarnished from Elden Ring, but we are not going to be spoiling anything from Tears of the Kingdom, guys. Right?
I
I haven't gotten very far beyond stuff that's like directly in the trailers. So
So we're not gonna say anything.
I don't really even know anything.
Story wise, right? We're not saying anything, but
Yeah.
I assume I saw there were some images in the Discord that I genuinely think are the first time I've seen an image of Tears of the Kingdom because I'm that good at not being
Have
on
you
the
seen
internet.
the Korok stuff?
I'm really impressed.
Don't know
by
what
you.
that is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely. Oof.
Can I? Am
I
I
have
allowed
seen
to-
some of the Korok stuff, and
Is that a
it's
spoiler?
very fun.
Is Korok
You're on
stuff
the
a
good side
spoiler?
of the internet if you haven't been seeing them and what they do to the Koroks.
You just
Yes.
haven't been
It's
on
just
Twitter.
not on it.
You haven't seen
Really?
what they've done to
So
Koroks.
we're gonna try to.
A lot of Pontius Pilates.
This source says prove it. You want me to prove that I have it and haven't opened it? Actually, I can do that. Hang on.
Hey, proof or it's not happening. I don't think he has a copy, guys.
Here
I'm
it is.
actually.
Oh God! As I break something, it is still in the wrapper. I don't know if you can see it, but it's still in the wrapper. It's
Yeah,
unopened.
Yep.
So
I
It
see
looks
the- I see
bootleg.
the-
It looks bootleg to me.
This is actually just Breath of the Wild with a
It's
different
good.
cover.
This is Liam's
Uh,
review of the first couple of hours, first like 5 hours or so of Tears of the Kingdom. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. It's good.
Cool.
It's sort of like
Surprise.
it like continues in the direction of like of like sandbox. Like
Mhm.
it is very much
Oh, yeah?
it defines like sandbox, right? Like and freedom. Whereas if you compare it to like Elden Ring is much less of a sandbox, but it's more like ultra dense with like tons of things to do, like tons of like scenarios created for
Yeah.
like a specific thing.
Little adventures and
It's
sequences.
pretty fair.
Exact.
pretty
Tears
fair.
of the Kingdom is more like, here's the ability to do like anything you
Yeah.
want to do, like
Which
the
Breath of the
building
Wild
mechanic.
had a bit of that as well.
Exactly. I mean, this is going like Ultra
Just
Hand is
building
like
off of that.
is insane. I mean, the amount of like stuff you can do with Ultra Hand is insane. Like just like you can build fucking World War II bomber planes. Like it's insane. It's nuts.
Jorix and Kira,
Way to
thank you so
take-
much for gifting some memberships. And yes, Random Videos Studios. Random Video Studios. That's it. Okay.
Yep, got me too.
Yep.
We are going to be showing a sneak peek of the upcoming death battle because not to derail you guys in your Zelda talk, but Ant-Man versus Adam debuts in less than a week. We are almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
a
happening.
duck.
Perfect.
Metaphorically.
Was not expecting that. Okay. Yes. Our new season premieres on May 21st for first members in early access for planet level champions and galaxy level champions. We'll talk about that later on YouTube. And then on May 22nd, that following Monday, for everyone else. We're very excited to share the episode with you. We will definitely have Josh on next week if we can, the director of the episode, to talk about it in detail. Well, it is a very fun, I think a perfect sort of introduction episode to the season. So excited to get going with that. But yes, we will have a sneak peek in just a little bit. Okay, so
That's better. I think my microphone was coming
Let's-
through my webcam, so I just changed it.
Holy.
I was just
Good.
adding that so you knew.
just thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that
You're
clarification.
welcome.
You just sound. What was it? What
Well,
was
you
the
wouldn't know the
description?
difference because
sound like-
you could hear me over Discord, and
Drink-
over Discord
You
it
sound
was
like
the same. But I won't say
drinking a fresh thing of water after a mint. What the heck was
I
that?
didn't say. Embu
Hey,
said
man.
that. Embu said that
Hey,
weird
man.
shit to you.
I was just
It's not-
saying
maybe
your
it's
equipment's
fine.
crisp.
Embu was like,
Chris,
Ben,
yes.
you sound like a beautiful, melodic, like just a summer breeze
yeah?
blowing in my face. And I was
That's-
like,
oh, yeah?
that's
Yes.
cool. That's cool. I mean, hey.
Way to get shamed for liking your coworkers, man. This
No,
is crazy.
no.
I just want to compliment my friends, guys.
Can you
No,
compliment me?
I
Embu?
appreciate
I
it.
really
I
just want to
wasn't-
compliment him.
I just only heard half of it because I was reading something else at the time. Then I was like, wait, did
What?
somebody compare me to mint?
Embu's
Sam, you
just
missed
trying to
it.
buy votes, I think. Is what's
I
happening.
think so.
Probably.
Yeah,
Which
that
let's-
too.
we sh-
Effective.
Yeah.
Maybe
we,
it's
we
effective.
should get into. We are like 10 minutes in and we haven't even gotten into the community death battle, so we should do that. Okay, today we are arguing Link from The Legend of Link, those games, versus the Tarnished from The Legend of Elden Ring, those
Yeah.
games.
My favorite game.
Famous game, The Legend of the Ring. So here's how this is gonna work.
Elden
Embu will
Lord
be
of the Ring.
repping Link, and Liam, of course, will
Yeah,
be
no
repping
shit.
the Tarnished.
It's funny though.
Yeah,
I didn't rep Nito. Last time we did it, Sam did. But that was literally only because the way it worked out.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Liam, you have to do. You're the only one that can do Skull Knight. And I was like, oh, okay. Even though I love Skull Knight. But yeah, no, that's going to be pretty much a rule. Is that I
So
represent.
check
the-
out our Skull Knight
Ubisoft
versus Nito
character.
episode if you haven't.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how this is going to work. It is going to be their job to convince the jury to vote for their respective character through any means necessary, and the jury consists of 3 seats: myself, Sam,
Okay.
and you all watching this right now. So if you're in the chat, a poll will be up for you to vote on later on in the show, and you can let us know who you think should win. Also, this of course is not a courtroom. You can pipe in through the chat, let us know your thoughts. If one of these guys is wrong or you think they should be talking about something, let us know in the chat and we'll bring it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. Now, for Link, I know there was some debate over whether or not this was going to be a composite versus just Breath of the Wild. I don't really know what the best direction for that is going to go. So I'm curious what you think, Embu. What direction do you want to go with it?
I definitely prepared for like composite only just because there's like interactions that Link has with like more characters and like more feats. But I mean, honestly, I only need 2 games to beat Liam today, so I'm not even worried. You can go either way.
Well, either way, as we talked about before, Link has the spirit of the hero that transfers through all the links. So to a certain extent, there's always going to be composite. I think it's more so items and whatnot that we would.
Yeah.
No,
I did hear that there's
Yeah.
maybe this is non-specific, so I'm not bringing this up as like a point or anything. I did hear that. Well, never mind.
Uh-oh.
You said
Okay.
this isn't. It's
already
isn't
about
a
to spoil
spoiler
things.
If I'm hearing about like speculation, I don't even know what it is. I don't know. I'm gonna
No,
refrain
okay,
from
nothing
saying
about
anything.
nothing about this game. This game,
Nothing
Liam.
aga-
This
nothing-
game.
Yeah, well,
You see this?
Zone,
You see this?
Liam.
You see this?
I didn't. It's nothing specific.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I literally
It's
just saw
gone.
people talking about like a thing, a
Tears
non-specific
of the what?
idea.
I can't talk about it.
Tears of
I
the
can't talk
what? It
about
doesn't
it.
exist.
It
Who
doesn't matter.
knows?
It doesn't matter. We're doing.
I
composite,
can't wait
but it
till
doesn't
Breath of the
matter.
Wild 2 comes out, Liam. All right.
Hell yeah.
Let's get to it then. Embu, we'll start with you. 60 seconds on the clock. Why does Link win this?
Okay, well, we're talking about a character that, like, again, when we're talking about the copy, we said if you don't know this guy, you've clearly been living under a rock. Link is the chosen hero of Hyrule. He saved the realm of the kingdom multiple places, millions and millions of times. We can all count different games we've all played. Yeah, I said millions. But in reality, this guy has an arsenal that like puts like Master Chief, puts Mario, any character that you think has a lot of power-ups, he puts them to shame. He has a Master Sword that not only kills and slays demons, but also seals them, and is like exquisite at sealing the strongest things in his verse. He uses a lot of items that are forged by gods or even used by gods before him. So similar to other kind of shields and boomerangs, bombs and arrows. Even when he doesn't have magical abilities like from his weaponry, he often has tools that will allow him to demonstrate that magic, even if it doesn't have to come from some sort of innate source. He has had like tons of boons, tons of abilities. There's no way he's losing this fight, really.
Okay. Well, Liam,
Yeah,
60 seconds on the clock for you.
great.
What's the Tarnished bring to the fight? The Tarnished.
The Tarnished of no renown. So the Tarnished is a hero very much in the same vein as Link. There's a lot of like overlaps in themes and symbolism between the two games, like the Elden Ring and the Triforce. Despite not having the same like amount of the breadth of experience that Link has, because it's only one game compared to a franchise. The Tarnished's arsenal overall is more powerful. It is more focused on actually like on combat than it is on Link's arsenal, which is focused more on utility. He wins in stats. He's stronger. He's faster by significant margins. And he has a lot of advantages in terms of numbers. He has Spirit Ashes and Summons. He has and I think the biggest thing, he can't die. Like the point of the Tarnished is that they will just continue to resurrect until they become Elden Lord.
Oh, was I supposed to be paying attention? I'm playing Breath of the Wild here.
Versed in the manners of disrespect.
That's great, Embu.
I was playing little Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Can you show us?
Oh yeah, you want to see?
I would love to see. What part?
I'm on the final boss.
Turn it around. Yeah,
I'm on the final boss.
You're on the final boss. Wow. Could you turn it around?
I actually am, but I'm not gonna show you.
Could you show me?
Embu.
Ben.
Embu. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't exist.
Oh, you're right.
Final
I'm
boss
on
of what?
Breath of the Wild
Final
2.
boss of-
I can't wait for Breath of the Wild 2 to come out. Boy,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to have a very exciting title.
Yeah, final boss of Breath of the Wild 2.
Wow, you got it early. Cool. All right. So, real quick, thank you to Gelatin Man and Anime Zone for a bunch of gifted subs. You guys are freaking amazing. Gelatin Man, what are you doing, man?
He's awesome.
Every single time. It's amazing. We do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, I'll address a couple questions about memberships later on in the show. So, okay. With all that being said, Liam, you mentioned the Tarnished doesn't
I
die.
look like fucking Santa Claus. Jesus. It's the beginning of like a pimple, I think. It hasn't like fully manifested yet. It's just
Thanks
sort
for
of red.
thanks for that info drop.
Well, people were
Liam.
saying like, "What's wrong with Liam's nose?" And I feel like I have to like point it out. You know, not all of us can be perfect and beautiful all of the time. Damn it! I
don't
kind of
think
look
any
like
of us are. That's
Rudolph,
the point.
the red-nosed reindeer. Right
I think you're pretty, Liam.
Only because you pointed it out.
pretty stupid. Is that
Yeah,
what
that
I
was
have
See, look, Embu's here just trying to like be nice and compliment us,
Wow.
and we're just
Thank you,
like,
Embu. I appreciate
that's
it.
so silly.
I won't debate as hard because you said that.
Wow.
Wow.
Which will be my way
Wait.
of accepting a loss if I do lose.
Yeah.
This is an awfully preemptive way to just prove that
Then
the
what were
Tarnished
you?
is going to lose.
Then what were you saying? What were you
Well,
saying?
maybe
What
Embu really
point
is.
would you
Maybe
wanna
there is
move
a
on?
strategy to the positivity here.
Perhaps.
Interesting.
Kill him with
No, we're
kindness.
asking
My question was,
Yeah.
the Tarnished requires a bonfire or to be in the lands between in order to resurrect, right?
Not necessarily. You can warp to a site of grace from a different dimension, the Round Table Hold, which doesn't physically exist in the lands between. And you can even do so when you are literally like outside of time. It's where you fight Placidus Axe. You're literally in what's called a chasm of time. You're outside of it from like the normal like time stream, and you can still warp to and from the site of grace that is there. So no, you can still. We haven't seen the Tarnished like leave like or go to the lands that we've heard talked about that are outside the lands between. But actually, no. All of the Tarnished came from outside of the lands between and were resurrected by by grace when they were outside the lands between, like Horalu and Sir Gideon Ofnir. That opening cutscene where they're talking about them, that's all outside the lands between. And
Yes,
they came in.
But
So
Grace had
yeah,
to find them, so they did die.
they were all dead.
Yes.
It is the funniest when they're talking about everybody in the intro, and then they're just like the guy that ate
The
poopy.
dung eater. Yeah.
And he's like
the
randomly
loathsome
he's
dung
like,
eater.
"The loathsome
Everyone-
dung eater."
Everyone talks about the dung eater, but I love and Gideon, the all-knowing.
Yeah, it's like a
just
wrestler.
So dramatic.
It's literally
it's
a
like
wrestler's intro.
wrestler opening.
I will just add, it's interesting, Liam, because you're pointing out that they can't die, but there's countless instances where Tarnishes die when they stop seeing grace or they lose grace. So I'm kind of confused. Is he going to have grace in this fight? Because it seems
Yeah,
like
I mean,
kind of
that's
outside
like,
help.
That's like outside help. No, it's a core part of his like being is that he is chosen by grace. Like it isn't like a thing that needs to be constantly given to him. It's just a thing that like is part of his quest. Like he's fated to become Elden Lord. So he is touched by grace. Like he hasn't there's been nothing to like challenge his ascension to Elden Lord, right? Like even though
Except
he
for the
dies,
3 fingers, right?
you can follow the 3 fingers and you still don't lose the grace, right? Like you can still die and resurrect after you follow the Frenzied Flame side quest.
I think
for the purposes of
Melina
this,
has
so that we
nothing to
don't
do
get
with resurrection. You can resurrect and warp to sites of grace before you meet Melina and after she dies.
Okay, really quick. I don't want to get too hung up on the whole resurrection question because I do think that we could probably just talk about this in circles. I think for the purposes of Death Battle, we should probably think about this as the first one. I know this is not typically how we would do like a normal Death Battle, but just so that we can get to an actual discussion. Let's just consider this as the first one to die, just fall in battle.
Okay.
And is the loser.
Okay.
And like if it were an actual death battle, we might consider Sites of Grace and whatnot. But
yeah,
for the purposes of this, first one to fall to 0 hit points loses.
And I don't think that changes that much either, because like if Link was like immeasurably beyond like the Tarnished, then it wouldn't matter how many times he fought him. He would lose. But if the Tarnished still has a stat advantage or an advantage in general, then he would only take 1 battle and an average to win.
What makes one Tarnished?
It's that you're chosen by grace. That you were
kicked
abandoned.
out earlier.
You were kicked out, and you've been brought back to return.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do gotta ask then. Okay, so just because we're ignoring grace, the only question I have is: does that mean like Link doesn't get Mipha's grace, doesn't get fairies? Well, what are we doing with those things?
I mean, there is a limited number of those that he can carry. So I think, I think it makes sense that he'd be able to carry those.
Yeah,
Well, I
Grace
think-
is like an extra force, right? That
Grace is like
comes to him,
it's the
so
same kind of
I
thing.
think
as
it's a
like
little
the
more
Speed Force.
complicated.
Yeah.
Which actually is
Yeah.
okay. I'm glad we're getting into what kind of force it is, because one of the big things that I was talking about with the folks in DBD was that Grace is obviously created by the greater will, or the three fingers, right?
No,
Right?
the Greater Will and the Three Fingers are different. The
Oh, not three fingers. No, excuse me. Two fingers. The two fingers. The two fingers
are.
here, and then the greater will made them, right?
I don't know if the Greater Will made the Two Fingers. I just know that Grace is a manifestation of the Erd Tree.
Ah, yes, the Erd Tree, which is the Elden Beast made by the Greater Will. I'm bringing
Yeah.
all this up to say that even though the Elder Will, oh my god, the Outer God, the Greater Will, created all of these subsections of grace and holiness, it seems kind of clear that the powerful is like what we would compare to like maybe the three goddesses from Zelda, who like created not only the Hyrule universe, but like other universes like Termina and Lorule by accident.
Link.
And Link has 1/3 of their power.
No, he doesn't. Link doesn't scale to the Golden Goddesses, and the Triforce isn't a manifestation of their full power. It was just created when they left Hyrule. Like when they left Hyrule, just the act
It
of
is
them
a
leaving
manifestation of their power to some degree.
to some
It
degree,
is.
but not a full one.
Vague how
Not
far.
the
it goes.
Well, yeah, of
entirety
course.
of
You don't
their
get
power.
you don't
No.
get the entire Triforce, and you're like all of a sudden the fourth goddess. Hello, but no, I think there's definitely an argument to be made that at least 1/3 of the Triforce is probably going to be stronger than like the two fingers, for instance, or any of their envoys or any of their holy magics. Especially if Link was already capable of beating gods, beating demigods, and sealing creatures of that tier. So like,
You can do all the same things in Elden Ring. The Triforce, the way it works isn't like when you divide up the Triforce, like each chunk of it is the same amount of power, right? There's literally the Triforce of power, the Triforce
That's
of
true.
Courage and the Triforce of Wisdom. What it's stated is that the Triforces contain the essence of the goddesses. So the Triforce of Courage contains the essence of, is it Nehru? Is it Nehru? I forget which. Is it Feror? It's Nehru, I think.
It's
It's
I think
Feror?
it's Feror. Yeah, I
Whatever,
think it's
one
Feror.
of them. It contains their essence, which, like, in that case, is the essence of courage, which manifests as like a defense against magic. And you can treat it as like an amp, as like a physical amp too, just on the basis of Link being physically more powerful. But it
It
isn't
does give
like
him protections against certain magic.
it does give him protections against magic,
and whatnot.
but it isn't like
curses.
1/3 the energy of the full Triforce. The full Triforce also isn't like an amp thing. It gives you a wish. Now you could say that wish could potentially affect the entirety of like Hyrule, or I think it was once used to like affect both Hyrule and Lorule in A Link Between Worlds. So you could maybe say
Yeah.
like 2 times universe or something like that. But that would only
Question.
apply to the full Triforce, and it isn't something that manifests as like raw power in the case of
If,
Well,
we
not
do-
necessarily-
if we do limit this to Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild Link doesn't even have the Triforce of Courage.
I was going to bring that up before we realized we were doing composite Link, but he doesn't have the Triforce. I don't think it would necessarily matter.
Zelda
'cause-
has the full Triforce at the end of the first
Yeah.
game.
Does and if this is spoilers, no, it probably would be spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Not-
want to say anything.
Also, I was
It
going to
comes
say
up
like
and okay, yeah.
I was
Just
also
looking
gonna
at Breath of the Wild, there's this game. What is this? It doesn't exist yet.
I was also
No,
going to say
but-
like you don't need to bring up the Greater Will because I don't think that the Tarnished necessarily scales to them. Like we don't really know what their relationship is, and we don't know how powerful the Greater Will is because they're so like nebulous and kept mysterious. Maybe in the DLC we'll find some
Yeah.
stuff, but it's not clear right now. You can scale him
I mean,
to like the
yeah.
Elden Beast though, because he
Yeah,
kills
the Elden Beast will. Yeah. The only
You can
god
scale
you
him to
kill in the whole
Radahn.
game, the only god you kill in the whole game is the Elden Beast, right? Is that
No.
is that hard to confirm?
You kill.
What
Well,
I'm
I
talking
guess,
about, like when you
a-
kill them, when you kill them, and it says something slain. What
Yeah.
else says God slain in the game?
Okay.
The rest of them are
I mean,
usually demigod.
The term like god
Great
and
enemy.
demigod like
Yeah.
are relative between
Yeah.
worlds, right? Like
It's not one for one.
let's talk.
Okay,
Let's.
I'm
how
just
powerful...
looking. I'm just looking in your game.
Yeah. I'm not. How powerful is Ganondorf? Like what's the most powerful like being that Link fights? Because he doesn't scale directly to the goddesses. I don't think you can put a number
I would say
even on a
it's a
fraction,
toss
right?
up. It's definitely a toss up between Vati, Demise, and Ganon. In terms of Vati being able to create pocket universes that have stars in them, as well as Ganon and Demise demonstrating at least close. Well, I say Ganon is definitely demonstrating planet level, and Demise literally does like rend space time like holes and dimensions, creates whole dimensions, and is on tier with Hylia. That's why I brought up the whole Greater Will part, because Hylia might not be stronger than the three goddesses,
No, she
but
isn't.
she's also she isn't, but she's definitely on par in terms of the strong, or I would say she sits closer to the top of hierarchy in terms of Hyrule's power. No one's like beating
Yeah.
Hylia, but Link
I
is
think there's
beating
a-
the people
There's a
who are
huge
equal
gap
to
between
Hylia in
like
strength.
there's a huge gap between like Hylia and the goddesses though. Like
Okay,
Hylia
okay,
is a
okay,
goddess.
okay.
Yeah.
I have to step in.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Hylia? Why are we talking about the gods here?
It's a good
I-
question because
I'm
Link's
it's a
not
good-
gonna
no.
kill
I'm glad
Hylia.
I'm glad you're asking because Link on countless occasions beats people who fought with those gods, who contend against the forces of those gods, and all the time he's not doing it in some sort of like, oh well, I need these god slaying weapons, or oh I'm just like using
You said he had god-slaying
rivers of. I'm saying he's doing it without it, but I'm saying he doesn't need like rivers of blood like plus 10 or whatever.
You don't need
In
Rivers
Elden
of Blood
Ring-
plus 10. You can beat the bosses in Elden Ring barehanded if you want
Link
Can
to.
you?
does kind of
Prove it right now.
Like the
Plug in
Master
Elden
Sword
Ring.
is a bit of it, right?
You would
But-
pull up a video.
No, of course, yeah. You need to definitely have like the master
You can
sword
beat
for
Elden Ring
a
with a
lot
fucking
of those
dance
tasks.
pad.
Can you? I need to see
You
that
can beat
right
with
now.
Bananas.
We're not talking about Liam.
No, but the point I'm making is that like Link is on countless occasions slaying multiple different gods and god tier people, and like I know in Elden Ring we're trying to say that demigod to god to like greater enemy is not some sort of hierarchy of power, but then like we'd have to say
That's
then
not
what
what I'm
is
saying.
what is the point of a demigod?
Yeah, but just saying
do
like
you-
a god in any video game is like, I mean, a god could also just be like an ant. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. I don't think
A god
It's
can
used
be
as,
an
like-
ant?
I
it's
want
not
to
just like
bring this back
here's
to like
god
reality.
power level. All gods
Yeah.
are on this one power level. Like
I-
it doesn't work like that.
No,
I
I
only
get that. I
asked-
get that.
No, I only asked to establish a level of power. Like the name, what you name somebody is irrelevant. What they can do is what's relevant. So the best
Okay,
feat that
okay.
you mentioned was creating a pocket dimension full of stars. Okay,
I would say okay. That was one of his villains. I'm just gonna add that
That's
like at
Vadi.
least
You
yeah,
said was
and then
a toss-up.
Majora
Yeah.
in the Majora has
Wings
at
on
least
the
the
moon.
ability of, if I'm not mistaken, we talked about it in Link versus Cloud, where
Yes.
it has like 67.5 exatons of TNT force, like what he can pull from the moon to cause, right?
Let's talk
And
about
these are forces that like yeah definitely Link is clapping
yeah,
on occasions.
totally. Let's talk about Radon. Because I actually
Okay.
found this to be surprising. Because
The
Radon has
the
been the
rotted
big,
boy.
as somebody Ben, we've even talked about it before. Starscourge Radon is a character who uses his gravity magic to hold the stars, and I'm going to explain what that means in a second, in place, as a way of preventing Ronnie's fate, like essentially stagnating the forces of fate. And he does that even when he has been afflicted by scarlet rot for some ungodly amount of time. It's just perfectly maintained there. So originally, when I looked at this, I was like, okay, they're not actual stars because we see one of them hit the lands between, and it's a meteor, and we see references to like what's known as falling star, like falling star beasts, which are obviously meteors. Now it creates like this humongous like fucking hole in the middle of Limgrave, right? That takes you down to Nokrom, and you can multiply that by like however many that you can, like stars in the sky that you can count that he moves, which is like I don't know, like 1,000 or something like that. So it would be like mountain level or something, which is obviously not the same as moving the moon or creating a pocket dimension. However, that's only if you go off of the English. If you go off of the Japanese translation, those stars are referred to with the Japanese character Hoshi, which does not mean meteor. It means star or world, sometimes planet, but in this case, star. And at first I was like, okay, what does that mean? Like, does that counter what we know about the fact that he also was affecting meteors? Well, no. When you talk to Selin, it's when you give her the Celavis letter. She says that Radon arrested the momentum of the constellations, which is a term that does not refer to meteors, definitely. What I'm taking from this is that stars in Elden Ring doesn't refer to meteors only, it refers to celestial objects as a whole. Falling stars being one subcategory, meaning meteor. But stars as a whole, including the constellations, being actual fucking stars and constellations. And when you go to Raya Lucaria, there are like astrolabes like laid all around the place to make it very clear that they're talking about the movement of celestial objects. And it makes sense, right? Like he was doing that to affect Ronnie's fate, which is something tied to the movement of stars. I mean, like that's how we understand it. Like if you talk about astrology or something like that. So he was absolutely affecting actual stars, constellations.
We're talking about
like
a
millions of
guy
light
who
years
was
away.
Interesting. So
we're talking about a guy.
Falling stars specifically is
A
the same
subcategory.
conjugated word in Japanese as well, also using Oshi. So
I'm not sure if
maybe
falling star is, but I
no,
think
what I specifically mean is like a falling star is another word for a meteor, right?
yeah.
And that could be just basically a way of taking that language and applying it to celestial objects, like you're talking about, rather than just meteors, like can be assumed based on what you see.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. So it's more of a thematic thing.
Yes.
Covering everything.
That,
just the word star is more of a thematic thing, and they're falling stars because technically a meteor is called a falling star. That's really interesting. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So I think that
I mean,
go on. Yeah.
I'm just saying it's really cool that you're applying these feats to this really cool character, to a guy who, to every intents purposes, we look at all the backstories before they get back into the lands between and in the lands between, don't apply to him, her, or them. Like the Tarnished is not going to be someone who was born from Renala. Yeah, you killed Radon in the same way that Melania can. Melania could have potentially killed him in their fight if she would have continued to blossom into the rock goddess. But again, I'm not getting into that. The point I'm making is that this is a guy in particular born from a queen of magic and like a literal demigod.
Yeah.
And he's doing things. He spent time learning with those void, the onyx lords or whatever, the people who do the magic. You don't have an opportunity to wield any semblance of his ability of gravity magic.
Yeah, you learn
not even
onyx,
close.
Yeah, you learn onyx spells. You learn like specifically.
Yeah, but who do you learn them from?
Like
who do you learn them from?
Huh?
Who do you learn them from? Who do you learn them from? Can you learn them from them, the lords? You spend time with them as much as Radon
use their
did?
remembrances.
No,
which is like there's. Yeah, and like your magic by the end of the game is way more powerful than Radon's. Like if you were to like fight, if you were like end game Tarnished fighting like Radon, you'd kill him in like a couple of hits.
Right now, you're equating the magic to hold back celestial bodies to attack potency.
Yeah.
The Tarnished can attack and kill a Radon. The Tarnished has not been demonstrated to hold back celestial bodies, so that strength isn't the same.
Because they both can utilize gravity magic, and Radon's gravity magic
but not
is
on the
powerful
same
to
tier.
hold those stars in.
There's no
his
way.
Gravity magic is more powerful by the end of the game. This is just basic scaling. What are you talking about?
I will say, because this is an RPG game we're talking about, if we are, especially if we're compositing Link, we can just give the Tarnished max stats in terms of how we're addressing this.
Which is what I understand.
Yeah. So, okay, keeping that in mind, let's get back to this in a little bit. That's this discussion has gone into some very high levels of feats and whatnot very quickly, and it's a little hard to follow.
Y'all pitted me against Liam. What did y'all expect?
So
let's take a quick. In one category, Link would absolutely have the advantage, would be in the kitchen. But that isn't to say the Tarnished can't catch up with today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Please, man, take it away, because I believe that's the segue you wanted.
The transition I needed. Thank you, Sam. Dude, that's why you're the best. HelloFresh. Yes, this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh, which the Tarnished apparently needs to get. All right, flavor is in full bloom at HelloFresh. Enjoy the taste of spring with chef-crafted recipes featuring ripe, seasonal ingredients delivered right to your door. That's right, HelloFresh takes the hassle out of mealtime by delivering pre-portioned ingredients and easy-to-prepare recipes to you. Skip the checkout lines because HelloFresh has dinner covered. Plus, their new fast and fresh options are ready to eat in just 15 minutes or less, which is amazing. Like, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that myself. The cost of groceries is going way up, and you know you're spending too much on overpriced takeout. HelloFresh is not only a potentially cheaper option, but also a healthier option. Their quick and easy meals make feeding the whole family easy, and without the high price tag, they've got and they have all sorts of options. Like, just look at their website, look at the app. There's so many options available all the time. Plenty to choose from. I'm sure the Tarnished will be able to find something that they like, regardless of how you build their stats out. So go to HelloFresh.com/cast16 and use code CAST16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. Again, using the code CAST16 gets you 16 free meals at HelloFresh.com/cast16. plus free shipping. Thanks again to HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. All right. With that said, we'll get back to the discussion in just a little bit, but I think now's a good time to talk about what is going on. With season 10. Okay, before we get to the sneak peek, I do want to real quick address the membership tiers coming up, just in case anybody wasn't here last week. If you want to know all the details, go check out the episode from last week, Barbie versus Ryu. It was just a fantastic, Death Podcast episode as well overall. So I think you'd appreciate it. Blizz being on was fantastic. And also it had a very fun ending where we all joined a cult. So,
Praise
That does
be
one of
to
those.
Barbie.
Praise
be to Barbie.
It happens. Anyway, so we are introducing 2 new tiers. Oh my gosh, Gelatin Man, thank you for the memberships. Also, I saw Lily Mandragon gifting some memberships as well. Speaking of which, so we are introducing 2 new tiers starting May 21st. And the idea here is that when the new season drops, so will the new tiers. So the first tier, the tier that's currently existing right now, the $2.99 tier, still going to be around. The name is changing to base form champion. Okay, so for $2.99, you can get the base form champion. Base form champions will get emotes, badges, Discord access, and live chats. The idea is that this is the entry level tier, I suppose, but we want to make sure that basically the cheapest tier has access to all the same community tools as everybody else. One of the key things we wanted with this entire membership thing was to make it built around you all, the community. So that's the goal here. So community access, community tools, all of that goes to base form champion. The next tier is $4.99. That is planet level champion. And that will be where most, if not all, of the extra video content goes into. The idea is that this tier will help us not only make behind the scenes content like we've been doing, but also new content, new shows, and new ideas. That's largely one of the main reasons why we're adding these new tiers. And one of the shows that's going to be coming to planet level champion is outtakes are coming back. Death Battle outtakes will be available for planet level champions. They will have early access to it for a limited amount of time, and then it will go public later on. But they will also, planet level champions will also be able to see Death Battle early when it drops, similar to how first members have been able to see it 24 hours early. If you're planet level champion on the YouTube channel, you can see that early as well. Same window, same 24-hour window. As will the top tier, the $9.99 tier, Galaxy level champion. Now, Galaxy level champion, if you go with this tier, you will not only get everything that planet level and base level, base form has, the community tools, the extra video content, the early access, etc., but you will also get your first membership on roosterteeth.com, which is a whole thing in and of itself. So the way I understand it, the way it works is you link to Rooster Teeth the same way you can link your YouTube channel to Discord. But if there's another way to do it, like I'll figure it out and we'll talk about it when the tier actually comes out. So because like we've been talking about this whole time, we are still kind of figuring out this membership thing with you all. So, we'll see how it goes. But we are very excited to bring all these new things to you guys, give us some new opportunities for new shows, new content, etc. I think it's going to be really cool to have these different tiers. And we've even talked about like what could potentially be new tiers in the future and whatnot, though. I don't know if we'd ever go over $9.99. I still think that's kind of high. But, you're getting first membership with a bunch of other stuff on it. So I guess it makes sense. A couple of questions I did see. If you are gifting memberships, do you automatically give, like Kinjorix just did, gifted 20 memberships? If you gift memberships, do you, where will the memberships go to? So I believe the intent is that when you gift the memberships, if there are multiple tiers, you'll be able to choose what tiers you gift. So it's totally up to you. You have full control over what you end up gifting, unless YouTube has a different method later on. I mean, to be clear, we don't control YouTube's membership program in and of itself, so it is possible that might change in the future, but I don't think it should. There was also, I believe, a question about. Well, actually, the question was about the early access, and I already talked about that. So yeah, we're free to answer any questions that might come up. If you have a question, feel free to let us know in the chat. But we are very excited to release these during very soon, and you know, just make this one of our best seasons of Death Battle ever, as is always the goal. But I think this could really be a special season. Oh,
I think that this season is fucking insane. I think this
yes.
season
Oh,
is
yeah.
in
There's some
fucking
pretty heavy bangers.
they're like genuinely, I think
yeah.
it's the strongest lineup of episodes we've ever had, in my opinion.
I'm a little biased, but I mean, it just those 2 episodes that we all know are coming that like the community helped to build and bring to us. Like that's the part that gets me the most excited.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
It's been, you guys have given us some challenges. But it's good. They're good challenges.
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of overhyping the season, let's go ahead and share the sneak peek of our season premiere, Ant-Man versus Adam. Check it out.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Trying something a little different with an individual scene as opposed to the beginning of the fight. I really like that scene. It's really fun. So, yeah, excited to show you guys the full episode. Again, that's going to be debuting May 21st, this upcoming Sunday for first members and for planet level members and beyond. And then on the 22nd for everybody else. So, yeah, get ready for that. Also, shout out to actors Gavin Hamon as Ant-Man and Chris Okawa as Adam. And these are the not original. I guess. Well, Ant-Man is the original Adam, but Ant-Man, but Adam is the more like well-known Ray Palmer Adam.
Oh yeah,
So-
it's like a reverse Marvel versus DC ripoff, because usually the Marvel character is the one that it's like the ripoff of the, I don't know, ripoff is sort of mean, but like is usually the take on
Yeah.
the DC character. But
Yeah.
sometimes like Namor came first and
Well, there
Ant-Man
was
came
an
first.
Adam earlier, but it was a different Adam.
That's right, and he had nothing to do with shrinking. He was just a short
Yeah.
guy that punched people.
I
it was
love
just
old
like-
Just
comics.
like a manlet. Like,
He was DC, so
Yeah, he
I
was
love
like
old
his power
comics.
was radiation, I think.
no,
Hence the name
no,
Adam.
it was called Adam because he was short.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and powerful, and short, and like he just punched people. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like he has a terrible costume.
sick, I guess.
Great.
You know?
And he's on the Justice Society with fucking like the Spectre, and it's like cool. Yeah, this is really necessary.
Heroes. Real heroes.
All right. Well, let's get back to the community death battle.
All right, we're getting back into it.
That's what
All
Ben
right,
Liam,
said.
we've talked-
Embu.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Send
no.
it
I'm
back
just
into it.
Liam, we've talked a lot about like the abilities of people that they
We haven't talked that
scale
much.
to. Scale to. I'm just trying to
Does
understand
Link not
where are
scale
there
to the
examples
body, or-
where there's examples of the Tarnished like dodging lasers, like faster than light.
I don't think he specifically dodges lasers. However,
Oh, cool.
since we know that Radon's gravity magic can reach into outer space,
Here
we
he
know
goes,
that, like,
man.
we know that it is faster than light. He also does opponents that he like can catch like lightning bolts and stuff like that. That's not light speed, obviously, but the gravity magic should, because of the fact that it can like literally affect like meteorites and bring them down from space, should
Well,
be faster than light to some degree.
Leaving aside how we know you're bluffing about that magic, Link
not-
has on
I'm not
countless
bluffing.
occasions dodged laser bolts, deflected laser bolts with
I
things
know.
like
I wrote
cooking
that
lids,
episode.
as well as shooting his own laser bolts, which is, I apologize for those people who think this game doesn't exist, but there's pretty solid. You know what, Mike? Do me a
You
favor.
don't need to
pull up
mention
the
Tears of the
screenshot we
Kingdom.
got.
It's in Breath of the
Pull up
Wild.
the screenshot. Pull up the screenshot we got, man. Pull up the screenshot we got. We got
It's in
the
Breath
one
of the Wild.
particularly
I don't-
where
you
he's
don't need to-
riding on the machine and is shooting lasers at the
Is this
animal.
our first look at Breath of the Wild 2? that we're about to
This
get
is
from
this is
you?
a death battle sneak peek. This man is shooting lasers from a tank that he builds with his new abilities, which, by the way, aren't spoilers if you've watched trailers, called Ultra Hand. okay, with Ultra Hand, Link can combine inanimate and not necessarily inorganic, but inanimate objects, so things that aren't living, to create different structures, different mechanisms. I don't know about y'all. Thankfully, I know Sam's not on that side of Twitter, you know, but there's literally videos right now you can't escape of Link riding around in mechs right now, okay? And not only is he shooting lasers that are faster than light, but he's deflecting those same lasers, demonstrating that the whole thing about the Tarnished being faster than Link, I don't know where you got that from.
Well,
I
I
really
don't
told you
calling
where I got
these
it from.
lasers faster than light.
Yeah, laser would be light speed by definition.
Oh,
I don't even know
The
what
guy-
you're talking about. You guys are
the guy-
referencing an image
Also,
that doesn't exist.
I want to
Yeah.
I want to like clarify like also like build you wouldn't really be able to build one of those like in the span of a fight, but let's say he comes with them. Like there are also tons of videos and it's becoming kind of a meme of like Link like people like trying to like hit the engine to get the machine to start and then accidentally exploding the entire thing because they're still
amateurs.
like made of fucking wood, you know.
Amateurs. Okay.
So
I get it.
they're not very durable, like at all. But they are like cool. I mean, I think it's like an insanely cool like sandbox mechanic.
I'm glad you agree that they are also not durable, because I was not gonna proclaim that they're made of some like indestructible material. I'm just really curious how a Tarnished who can't dodge light is gonna contend with Mike, one more picture for this conversation at least. Bring up the one with the aircraft, please.
Aircraft?
Do.
Is this also
Yeah,
from a game that doesn't exist?
I'm curious how the Tarnished is gonna handle an airstrike. 'Cause I think if you look in that cloud and that plume of fire and destruction,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's your character down there, Liam.
I like to like, where is the point in time in the battle where you think Link will have 30 minutes to set up some
Yeah.
sort
I'm
of
really
makeshift
glad you bring that up.
airship?
No. I'm really glad you bring that up, because the miracle of one of the abilities in the game, I'm not going to spoil it, is that there's auto build where things can be built before and
Okay,
brought
we're
out.
gonna stop here. I think we're getting too far into Tears of the Kingdom, the game we said we weren't gonna talk about.
Just saying.
We're
The
We're not
character
gonna
is
talk about
capable
this
of
game. It
doing
literally
things.
just came out. I don't want to fuck up somebody's enjoyment of the game.
There's no spoilers.
I also
talk
like-
about
ultimately, I'm just confused on how there's any ability for a Tarnished who has his own weapons, which I agree are really great, own equipment that's really great, and he has the magical abilities, which, by the way, he can't really cast without either the charms for incantations or the staffs for spells.
Yeah, he has
It
everything.
doesn't really take.
The
Yeah, it
character
doesn't really
has- the
take too
character
much
has
for Link.
everything.
It doesn't really take too much for Link to pull one of those out and use it to one of his own weapons. And
You can't
what's the Tarnished
use
gonna do?
weapons from characters that are holding them.
Yeah, you knock it out of his hand, like Link's done with tons of enemies before.
Then you knock.
Because the Tarnished never.
Then you knock like the Puripad. I mean, the fact that like so many of those abilities
Okay.
are like from the little pad.
Again,
that
It's
he
not on
has.
the Puripad though. It's
Let's
his
not
hand.
talk
It's
about Tears
literally
of the
his hand.
Kingdom. We don't need to talk about it. None of this shit's gonna be important in the fight anyway. Who
Okay.
gives a
Being
shit?
handicapped.
Okay.
Why is the
I'm
Tarnished
not
gonna
talking
care
about it.
whether or not he can infuse a rock with a stick?
Yeah.
When he's got
Yeah.
in another game, he's got a device that can literally just freeze the Tarnished in place. He's got devices that can he can shoot an arrow and freeze him in ice. He's got
You can shoot
arrows
arrow.
that turn into light as he fires. He's got a mask that can turn him into a devil god. Like, why is that not coming up? Like, he's got so much more impressive stuff in other Zelda games. So
Can we
maybe
talk
we should
about
talk
some
about
of the
those.
Yeah,
Can we
I
talk
feel
about some
like
of the
the-
Tarnished's magic? I haven't really been able to talk about that yet. Would that be cool? Is that cool?
Talk about
Yeah,
what?
please.
Tarnished?
The
I missed
Tarnished
what you
Tarnished
said.
magic, Elden Ring magic.
Sure. He needs
Um,
equipment to cast.
Yeah, equipment that he has. You can also carry
Yeah.
like up to 99, I think, of each individual item. So like, okay, he knocks one of them out of his hand, and then the Tarnished uses
That's another one.
another
yeah.
one. I don't know. Like, he can cast magical barriers. He can cast Renala's moon and Rani's dark moon, which creates like this like moon thing that is like a projectile that dispels all magic that it touches and reduces your magic damage negation. He can dispel magic attacks with Eternal Darkness, which is kind of like a little black hole thing. Not a literal black hole, but like it sucks magic in, magical attacks. He can turn invisible. He can turn his weapon invisible. He can cast magma attacks, ice attacks. He can summon meteorites with Meteorite of Estelle, and that spell is actually stated to be what destroyed the Eternal City originally. He has Fia's Mist, which causes Death Blight, which is like an instant death thing. He can heal himself. Obviously, he can cure all status effects. Shadow Bait is like creates like an illusion that casts like mind control on people that see it, that attracts you towards it. Darkness, he can cast like Veils of Darkness to hide himself. You can cast Lightning, Black Flame, which is used to kill gods. And it essentially is, it's like a super fast acting poison. It reduces your HP. Malekith's Black Blade, which is super awesome because it has the Rune of Destined Death, which reduces your maximum HP. So rather than like reducing your health, it reduces the amount of health that you can have as well as your HP. Causes blood loss with, like you mentioned, Rivers of Blood. Poison, Scarlet Rot, which is both poison and insanity. It just drives you fucking mad. You have Frenzy, which is like a status effect that drives you insane. You can summon like manifestations of dragons that you fight, like Placidus Axe, who's just Ghidorah. You can summon Ghidorah briefly out of yourself and then just blast your motherfucker with lasers.
Can I ask you a question, Liam, about these magical spells?
I'd love you to ask me a question about these magical spells.
Awesome, sweet. When it comes to the spells in Elden Ring, particularly the really sick dragon ones you mentioned, but they're not the only one, are they just like boon free? Like in terms of like when you get them, does the user not take any sort of like ramifications? Is there like a monkey's paw involved in any ability to use them? Like if you have access to this spell, there's no downsides, is there?
There might be like a spell that like, I don't know, like reduces like part of your HP if you use it. I don't know which one that is though. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm not referring to any spell in particular, actually. I'm referring to the general concept that not only do all the blood incantations, the dragon incantations, and a bit of the rot ones too, if I'm not mistaken, all of them, generally speaking, to gain access to them requires a level of faith, right? And to have those faiths, or arcane, I went over that.
What are we talking about?
Tarnished
has max stats.
Yeah, he has max stat. No, hear me out. But you have to engage in some sort of behavior, some sort of practice that inherently makes you like a certain type of being when you have those abilities. Like the concept that I'm drawing towards is that Link has holy weapons that damage and hurt people who are like servants of certain demons, servants of certain gods. And from what I understand, when you do dragon incantation, you're like becoming more draconic. You're becoming more like those people. That's why you get the eye abilities in there. Oh, so why do the dragon communion users change eyes and become the lizard ones, the flat ones? You literally change eyes. You change, your eyes change. Because it's a symbolic of what's going to happen later on. The point I'm making is that all of the
dragons aren't
spells,
evil, and they aren't hurt by holy attacks. And you have holy damage negation spells too.
All of the Tarnished spells inherently have drawbacks that affect him, her, or them. That doesn't apply to Link. And Link has abilities that would then be taken advantage of in the fact that you have weaknesses.
But you didn't. The drawback you mentioned was that the Master Sword does damage against evil beings, but dragons aren't evil. They're just a different race of beings.
Not necessarily dragons, but other spells.
You have holy damage negation. There isn't like an inherently like evil group in Elden Ring. Like they all have their own like justifications for doing things. They're just
when I say evil, I'm using lowercase
guys. I think I'd like to because we have barely any time left and we really haven't talked about counters at all. So I want to specify, how does a Tarnished counter stasis? And how does Tarnished also get around Link's magic armor? Those are the two things that are really on my mind, and I saw people in the chat asking about it.
Well, with stasis, I don't think that there's like a direct counter to it. The fact that you can fight Placidus Axe outside of time might mean that you can battle outside of the normal flow of time, and ancient dragon smithing stones are stated to warp time, like twist and warp time. So there is an argument there that you could potentially be immune to time affecting spells. There aren't really any time affecting spells in Elden Ring. It's just the only time that there kind of is when you go to Placidus Axe's tomb. Time rewinds around you and you're not really affected by it.
Okay.
It creates like a room where you're fighting outside of time, but not necessarily that you yourself are a being that's like unaffected by time being impacted on you. Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna post the poll while y'all argue.
Yeah, please do that. No, it doesn't like create a room. You can enter.
When I say room, let's just say space.
Enter the time stream like at will, and are.
Let's just say there's a space, right? In the concept of time space, there is a space outside of time.
Yeah.
And you're able to interact and act in it, but no one in that space or even outside of that space, in at least the Elden Ring world yet, can do things that impact how time affects you as an individual. like just like you, regardless of what space you're in. Is that
No,
correct?
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the,
Okay.
it's the ability to interact with that space. That would mean that they could potentially. I'm not saying this is like a for sure thing. I'm just saying the fact that you can interact with that space, whereas no one else can. Besides Placidusax, who's already there.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Skykid, thank you for gifting some memberships. Okay, and then is there a way for the Tarnished to cancel out the magic armor? Because we've talked about this in the past, how Link can kind of jerry-rig a very long-lasting magic armor that just takes damage instead of him.
Well, you could stuff like I'm trying to remember exactly.
Is there like a cancel magic spell? I don't know if there is.
There is.
You mentioned the retaliation one.
I mentioned Ronnie's Dark Moon and Renala's Moon that reduce damage negation. So that would reduce the effectiveness of magical armor or magic damage armor. There also, I'm trying to remember, there also might be some status effects that affect like degrade armor in Elden Ring. I'm trying to remember, like something similar to acid, but I'm not quite sure. I could be making that up in my head.
Does the magic armor protect Link from status effects? They don't. Status effects aren't really a thing in Zelda.
At that point in the game, there wasn't. There's some Zelda games that have status effects now, but it just generally seems to be that like it stops anything that would cause harm to the person in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite know if it affects status per se. But I know the Triforce of Courage, like for instance, I know you said it's not a power boost, but like the same reason why Link becomes a wolf in like Twilight Princess is because any magic that would ultimately affect his status, the Triforce stops that.
Would it affect
it keeps him
madness?
Complete.
Does it affect?
I think
mental
it would.
Stuff?
I think it would because no one's ever mind controlled Link, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the people who become spirits in like Twilight Princess, and there's another game where I think it was at Spirit Tracks where you have to enter like another dimension. I can't remember all the details, but whenever Link,
the Twilight, or not the Twilight, but the people in, it's not the Twilight specifically, but the people that the Twilight realm envelops. It's been forever since I've played Twilight Princess. The spirits that you find, you have to like collect as the wolf and bring them back together. They're like reliving something or having something's messed up with their brain. So they're either reliving a trauma or something like that, or they're like lost or whatever. They're mentally lost in some way, and you have to recover their souls and whatnot. So I do think the Triforce of Courage would protect from madness because it protects from whatever was affecting them there.
It's worth mentioning that the Frenzied Flame can like burn down the entire planet, so it is an incredibly powerful form of mind control. That I don't know if like.
So I'm curious,
like, that's the end
how in the world is this max level Tarnished gonna have all of the Frenzied Flame? Because you only burn down the Erd Tree. You only burn down the Erd Tree when you get to the top of the thingy.
Lord, we can't. I mean, how is one Link gonna have Majora's Mask and all the other aspects that we're giving him? Like, we can't really get bogged down by lore in this kind of argument. But either way, we are at the end here. I do think
the unpolished.
You guys know what I mean by we can't be bogged down by lore. We do need to start wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 1 minute left.
Yeah, we have 1 minute to get through everything else. So, rapid fire. Let's get to the community page answers and see what you guys had to say. As the poll is up, you can go ahead and vote while we are going through this. So let's go ahead and bring up the first one. Let's see. I'll just read it from Weskin Time. Tarnished is blatantly galaxy level at minimum. What? Just based off, I guess that's kind of what we were getting at. Based on fighting Radahn, who is holding back all the stars in the sky. Far above where you guys put Link. Also, Tarnished has access to Destined Death, which is just death incarnate. It was able to burn the tree that dictates all of rebirth and the collection of souls.
Not really, but okay.
Okay. I mean, one thing that I'm getting from a lot of this Elden Ring discussion is because of the vagueness, or not vagueness, the out there-ness of Elden Ring's lore. Some of these things can be interpreted very differently depending on the.
It's like really conceptual.
Yeah.
Because I know what the answer for Zelda is because I pull these questions, I'm very curious to see, because I think it's a great answer, how it affects the poll. So if we can bring up Link's answer.
Let's bring up Zelda's answer. Okay. Regardless of their stats and arsenals, one thing is certain: the Tarnished is maidenless. Well, Link has Zelda.
The Tarnished is not maidenless. That's the whole point of Elden Ring. You get multiple maidens. You get Melina.
Just
You
say
get
maidenless.
Hyacinth, you get
Oh
Ronnie.
my God.
Maidenless?
That is the whole point.
Maidenless?
There's
Wait,
an
To
ending
get
where you get
maidens,
laid.
yeah.
Wait,
He has no pool.
And I'm gonna
The
say
Tarnished has no
Ronnie-
pool.
Ronnie's better than Zelda. IMO.
Nah, man.
IMO.
No,
Yeah.
he
Are
has
you
no
saying-
pool.
Novelli Lou,
Liam,
better than Zelda. Yeah.
are you saying that this whole time Elden Ring was actually a dating sim?
Mike, could you bring up image 1? Could you bring up image 1 that I sent
I was
you?
not expecting that response.
This is where you start. This is where you start. It is absolutely a romance.
What am I looking at, man?
Wait,
This
this
is a
is
lost
how she
episode of-
finds you?
This is how Melina
Wait,
finds you.
this cannot
is
be the Tarnished we're
This is the
after.
canon manga. This is the canon manga.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
I guess she does
T-posing or
find you
not.
when you're unconscious because you
Yeah.
got killed or whatever by
You fell off the cliff.
multi-arm
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or
She's
you
like,
fell off
all
the-
right, horse thing, go ahead and
Yeah,
touch him and be
Torrent.
bonded or whatever.
Yeah, and Torrent's
Torrent,
like,
yeah.
and she's like,
What a-
Torrent, don't be
what a
mean.
world.
That's what it looks.
That's how you start, and by the
Because
end,
in game
you
it's
become
like
Elden
all
Lord.
tight and close, but if you pull the
Yeah.
camera back, that's what it looks
His
like.
ass
It's
is
hilarious.
showing. Yeah, the manga's really funny.
cheeks out, man.
It's a comedy
Cheeks out.
manga,
Oh,
which is,
love it.
I think,
love it.
appropriate in a weird way.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring up the community page poll that you guys voted on before the show. See who wins that. This will be the first vote. Wow, exactly
Okay.
75% voted for
Yeah, that's
Link.
not surprising.
Okay. Just interesting that we got that like sharp 75 to 25%. Okay, so we got one
Clean.
vote for Link,
It's clean.
but we'll see if that changes here. And we will start with our votes and then wrap up the community poll. Sam, who are you voting for?
Tarnished, I guess. I just think
Man,
I know I'm wrong, but also
you think you know a guy?
Wait,
it's a,
you know you're
I
wrong,
don't-
but you're going to vote for him anyway?
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Because I mean, he's got no maidens. I feel bad.
It sounds like he's got more maidens.
Well,
he's
I
got
don't know.
choices. Link's only got one.
Yeah.
The pity pick.
And
Wait,
I mean,
what-
no,
what-
Link's got a
what?
few different girls
Don't
throughout
remember
the
friends.
No,
series
come
to chase
on,
after.
yeah.
We're not,
Put some
we're
respect
not
on
counting
Link.
Mifa. I'm sorry.
Mifa? Who's the girl from Lon Lon Ranch? Watch out.
The fish?
I'll put some
Does the fish
No,
count?
the redheaded girl. I forgot her
Mifa's a
name.
fish.
The redheaded
Now,
girl
the
who gives him
Zora,
a
for
Pona.
some reason, just really have a thing for Link.
It's a
Yeah.
fish.
So you're voting for Tarnished.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I just really like the game. It's a good game. I
It
do
is a
think
good
there
game.
are some things there where, if you really dug into this, that the Tarnished have a genuinely good chance.
Okay. So I'm looking at this game that has now suddenly manifested my hand.
I can't stand you.
It now exists. Link looks pretty cool on it.
Yeah, they're really big on the off-the-shoulder dress wear in that game. Everybody's
I
got
think-
one cold shoulder.
It's fashion.
Because I am so freaking excited to finally play this stupid thing, I'm gonna vote for Link.
Oh,
I
you're
love
gonna
you
pull a
so
little
much
reversal.
now.
Which puts us at. I'm also gonna try to open this without nails or a knife. We'll see how well I can do. Which puts us at. Oh God. Which puts us at 2 votes for Link, yeah, and 1 vote for Tarnished. So depending on your vote in the chat, we might tie. But let's go ahead and see what
He's
you all
working right
voted
now.
for. Yeah. Zelda's friend wins 57% of the vote. Wait, is Zelda's
Who is Zelda's friend?
Who is Zelda's friend? And who is the unpolished?
I don't know if that's a. I
The
don't know if that's a-
unpolished?
I don't think you can count that as a vote for Link.
Zelda. Well, how many friends does Zelda actually have?
Besides the one that
That's a
fucking
good-
all died. No, she's friends
Uh,
with. She's friends with no, whatever
Ooh.
the Gerudo lady. Friends with the Gerudo lady.
Impa?
Friends with
Was she really
No,
friends? Or is she
friends
like
She's dead. Urbosa.
Urbosa. Yeah.
Urbosa died.
Urbosa's
It
dead,
doesn't,
but
it doesn't
Impa's
fucking
alive.
matter. You can still talk to them. You talk to them all the time in that fucking game.
I guess they don't become like you don't unfriend somebody when they die.
Yeah,
No,
what?
when-
So
when
it's
they're
kinda
dead,
like-
you unfriend. That's how it works.
Ooh.
Fucking-
that
you're
would,
not my
that would
friend
kind of suck.
anymore
Okay,
'cause you
okay. So
died.
Urbosa wins.
Urbosa
Congratulations,
wins.
Urbosa.
Yeah,
You are the
Sick.
winner of
Sick.
Link versus Tarnished. Honestly, I think it makes a lot of sense. Urbosa would just come in and step
I
on
think
both of them,
Urbosa
and they'd be
would
like,
win.
"Oh, here's the maiden we're looking for."
Literally.
Yeah. All right. There's
I
no
think-
way I'm gonna be able to open this. I need like a
I had
paper
faith
No.
in
or
you.
something.
I was
Chat,
really excited.
Sidon does not count either. He's also a fish.
I have a pencil.
Why don't fish count? Anti-fish agenda from
That's what
Leo.
I'm saying,
Not
man.
gonna fuck a
love
fish.
is love.
Not gonna fuck a fish.
All right.
Zoro or not traditional.
You know what?
fish. I
I'm
think
really
you're in the
shocked
clear.
that weapon durability didn't come up at all here today. So
I don't think it
This
matters.
is using the Master Sword.
It's a hack argument,
Right?
that's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, does he
Okay.
have any
like
weapon
saying
better
that
than the
he
Master
doesn't
Sword?
scale to Radon.
The
Jesus
big Goron sword,
Christ.
I think.
The
Maybe.
stink of desperation. Whoa.
I guess the big Goron sword does more damage, but then he can't use his shield, and that shield's gonna be kind of important.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Also-
Sure.
Assume you got the rest of your day full here, Ben.
Can I go now?
Oh.
It-
I saw the game thing. I know it's in there. You can't do that bit.
It exists.
I saw it in there.
It exists. Well, for some reason, I got
Ah!
all excited about new game smell with like the
manual. And
the manual.
stuff.
Yeah,
And then I remember
They never have a menu.
Yeah.
anymore.
they don't have manuals anymore, and
Physical
that's why I was
copies
disappointed.
fucking suck
Why did they
these
even
days.
bother
Manuals.
having the box that size? I don't
'Cause
understand.
Y'all want? I mean, because that's how stores are set up for the cases that size.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, we're gonna show the sneak peek for Ant-Man Atom at the end here. But thank you all for watching, whatever this was, you know. Thank you, Embu and Sam, for jumping on. And again, the new season of Death Battle debuts this upcoming weekend. It's happening, everybody. We're almost here. Ant-Man vs. Atom premieres May 21st for first members and early access on YouTube, planet level tier and above. And then it will be public on May 22nd on both channels. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the new season of Death Battle. Once this episode airs, we are going for the rest of the year. Every 2
Oh,
weeks, new episode. There's no season break.
Gas. No breaks.
We're just going.
We're just going for it. All right. And as always, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Adios.
Deuces.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?